Don't get mad, man. I'm just keeping it real. I know ain't nobody gonna say, "Oh yeah, you're totally." No, I'm gonna have a lot of black people jumping on here, especially people who are involved with the BLM, jumping on here going, "Oh yeah, man, you made some good points." I know, but I know deep down inside, you know who's really at greater risk. We all know. So what's the issue here? It's okay to fucking attack white people. It's okay to attack people who have more money than you because somehow they probably stole it or got it through privilege, but they don't deserve to fucking keep any of it because they got more than you. They probably did something somewhere along the way to fucking oppress. That's a big word. Remember we talked about that the other day, oppress and liberation. Somewhere along the way they oppressed you, so they fucking deserve it. It's okay to fucking beat a white guy if you're gonna steal shit from them because, they beat us on the fucking plantation and they fucking hunted us down when we ran away like fucking dogs and they raped. Man, I didn't do that shit. My kids didn't do that shit. My parents didn't do that shit. In fact, nobody in my lineage did anything like that because of my ethnicity. My people weren't even in this country until the turn of the century. Like so many other European groups, the Irish, the Polish, the Russian, Italians, Greeks, etc. didn't even come to this fucking country in mass numbers until around the turn of the century. So first of all, your argument's really with mostly with the British, a little bit of Scottish and Welsh and some of and Dutch, but mostly with the fucking English as far as slaveholders. So when you're trying to say, this kind of shit, regardless, even if you're talking to a person who happens to be fucking English and his family has been here for that long, this is not something that anybody's done. So using that as justification, because I've heard that so many times, well, it was fucking, that's what they did to us. They did worse shit to us. I didn't fucking do that. So we're going to play a sins of the father game? Let me just explain to you what that would mean. Because I'm white by race, or in this case, like I said, English by ethnicity, but it doesn't matter. Let's just say white. Just because I'm white, then you can hold anything white people have ever done against me. And most specifically in this example, you can hold slavery against me 150 years after, 70 years after its abolition, and long after plenty of people were already saying this ain't right and we shouldn't do it. But that means that, how far back in your family can you go? One generation, two, three generations. Most people can't go back more than 3 generations. And some people, if they can, it's just like they might know the name, but you can't. How can I possibly be responsible for somebody 10 generations back? And if we're going to play sins of the father, then that means that anytime anybody in your family did anything, and if you're going to keep generalizing and you're not going to separate white ethnicities, and that means anytime any black person did anything, and we're just using American examples here, right? So American example for black people is white slavery, right? So how about black violence, right? Black violence against white people. That's been deemed racially motivated. There's been a lot of that. And so sins of the father, that means that you're guilty of that and you're black and therefore somewhere deep down you're racist and you're violent enough to commit that same kind of thing to me or to somebody else in my family. Therefore, sins of the father, you're automatically going to be guilty and I should always treat you as an enemy. I mean, you understand this is what you preach when you say that kind of shit. You don't think, because most fucking people that say this kind of shit are dumb. Or they're not dumb and they're doing it to try to manipulate. Because that's where that argument goes. So when people say that kind of shit, it's dumb. It's divisive. It's race baiting. I'm one of those people that's trying to hold it together. I'm still trying to see both sides of this and I'm trying to bring people together. But when the fucking side that I'm already leaning away from because they're fucking crazy and they're communist and they have these stupid arguments that I can pick apart on a dumbass YouTube video, let alone actually stand up to fucking real scrutiny. These kind of people are leading groups of people that are doing this kind of shit. I mean, your position is weak as fuck. And I'm not trying to do this pick a fucking side bullshit, but that ain't gonna work out well for you either. You have plenty of people that are on your own side that at some point will actually realize that the shit that you're doing. Because, right now you got a lot of people convinced that they're on the side of justice and righteousness. And that anybody who says anything that's a counterpoint is using some kind of fucking propaganda tactic to discuss the subject and is ignoring something. But see, a lot of those people, they're going to give out on you because they're going to see something and they're going to go, holy fuck, this actually is true. So sighting as deep as you think it is. And it ain't going to work out well. And it don't need to be that way. It don't fucking need to be that way. But the communism, socialism shit's got to go. And this fucking everything is somebody else's fault shit has got to go. And this I don't understand what consequences are attitude has to fucking go. Right with the victim mentality, which everybody understands because that's been talked about a lot. Another phrase that should be tied in with that is lack of consequences. Lack of comprehension of consequences. When I was a kid, right, like I'm a boy, I get in a fight with another boy at like 15 years old. He says something and I ignore it. He says something, I say something back. But there's certain things he could say, like he could say, man, fuck you, I'm gonna come over to your house later and I'm gonna fuck you up in front of your family, in front of your fucking mom and dad, something like that, right? I could punch him, give him a fucking shot, like, in the hall in high school, and then relaying this story to the principal, somebody else, they say, what happened? And they hear and they go, that was kind of a threat you laid out there, so you kind of earned that one. Now, it wouldn't give me a right to shoot him, but I mean, like, point being, that's how it kind of used to be. People would understand there were consequences for their action, and sometimes you'd say something and sometimes it'd be too far and somebody could be able to give you a shot, or sometimes kids would get in a scuffle and one would fucking hit and the other one would hit back and there'd be a little fighting and there wouldn't be any fucking death involved or any guns, right? And school administrators or even police would just be like, nobody's fucking hurt, get out of here. So they used to be able to make judgment calls like that, and I'll circle back to that in a second, but they would just say, get the fuck out of here, and that'd be it. And the point was that if you left and you had a loose fucking tooth or a bloody nose, you learned there were consequences of your actions. And even if you were standing up for yourself and the other person started and you fucking hit them and they hit back, it's still a consequence. It's still how shit works. People understood consequences, and they don't seem to have any grasp of that anymore, that there are consequences. Everybody seems to think they can just do whatever the fuck they want, whenever they want, and then they could stand behind a shield of fucking victim. How was I going to work for you if you're in power? Let me just throw that one out there. Let's say that this BLM gets what they want, all right? And let's say I'm completely off base about them being communist, which I'm not. But let's say now they get power, and now let's say black people get reparations. Okay, this is a good one, right? Get reparations, and I think it'd be stupid to do it this way, but let's just say everybody gets a stipend of like fucking $700,000. So a good amount of money, right? Now you got shit. And there's a lot of poor white people in this country. Well, what happens in 10 years from now, or maybe even less? You got a lot of white people who are poor and who are still poor, and now they've had a fucking kid, right? They have 15 years, right? And the kids are still poor, and they're like, dude, you got shit. You were given something. I never had that. My family never had any wealth. Now you're the one that has something and I want to come after you. I mean, have you ever thought about what happens if that happens in the future? Because then you'll be like, well, damn, I got shit, so fuck you. This is different. I had to get it from this. It ain't no different. Everybody in this country has an opportunity to earn. Earn a place, earn respect, earn money, earn a fucking good family. I mean, you can be born into a bad situation. A lot of us have been. Unfortunate, poor, abusive, lacking. It happens. The beauty of this country, the point of the American dream with the BLM and Antifa, it's not just that they're missing, it's like they're against, is that the thing about this country that's great is the guaranteed pursuit of happiness. Guaranteed in writing. The pursuit. Not the acquisition. The acquisition is on you. It's on the individual. Whether it's financial gain or some other form of personal enlightenment, that happiness is up to you. But you have the opportunity to seek it here where you don't know a lot of other countries. Certainly throughout history, but even today. Do you not realize this? And real quick, what I was talking about with the cops before is everybody wants body cams, right? But with body cams, police no longer have the option of discretion, right? So think about that time you got in a fight when you were a kid with another kid and it was some dumb shit Maybe you were wrong for the way you started it. Maybe they were fucking wrong. But in the end, nobody had any fucking severe broken bones. Nobody was fucking hurt badly. Cops came. They separated you. And at one point, they're like, fuck it, just get out of here. If we catch you guys again, we're going to arrest you. They just let it go, right? This is a discretion option, right? I can give you 100 other examples of this, including getting pulled over for something, right? But when you start to implement body cams because everybody wants to spy on the police because we don't trust them and we want to know every single thing, discretion goes out the window. We've seen this in corporations, right? Every single thing's handled by HR department. Every single way a person can speak is micromanaged. And there's no more room for discretion or variance. Everything has to be a certain way, right? And so by insisting that every department have cameras, that's great in the event of extreme violence. But when it comes to everything else, there's no more officer discretion. There's no more choice. It's like I said this before with the Rashad Brooks video that I did a while ago, right after that happened. You can see in that video, man, that first cop was going to let him go. He was looking for a way to let him go. He was trying to fucking put together in his mind a way that he could get away with letting him go without it coming back on him. Because of the body cam. Because of all the people there who saw what was going on, and people with their fucking cameras sitting out there, because all the people just looking at him, watching, waiting for something worse to happen so they could pull their cameras out, right? He was looking for a way to just be like, man, fine, sleep in your car. Man, fine, let somebody come pick you up. He tried. He tried to give that dude outs. That dude fucked all of his outs up. And he had to be very careful about the words that he said and how he was trying to present this to this guy. And he can't even say straight, listen, man, I'm trying to give you an out here, but you're not giving me anything to fucking work with. If you had a ride, come pick you up. And I could be guaranteed you weren't going to touch your car or fucking run into traffic. I'd just be like, it's all good. He was trying, man. But, you know, that kind of discretion is gone with body cameras. So just remember that. When you want them there all the time for this other shit, that happens too. That's just a side point. I just was bringing that up. Last thing before I go. Yeah, I'm tired of hearing this fucking shit about all white people are racist. Can we just knock that off? I mean, maybe we should look at the words, right? What's racism? Right, what does that word mean? Google search racist. They have a dictionary definition that says, a person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against people of other races or who believes that a particular race is superior to another. Wrong. They've mixed the definition of two words there. They're mixing the definition of a racist and a supremacist. Okay, let's try racism by Merriam-Webster instead. A belief that a race is fundamental detriment of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. No, that's supremacy. Behavior or attitudes that reflect and foster this belief. Prejudice. No, prejudice means to prejudge. That's a different word. The systematic oppression. This is the girl that got this definition added to the definition in the dictionary because she was tired of losing arguments. The systematic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. Specifically, white supremacy. No, these are fucking different words. Okay. Google says about white supremacy. So in their little dictionary tab, it says the belief that white people are superior to those of all other races, especially the black race, and should therefore dominate society. Close. So I gotta say, it sounds exactly like their definition of racist, just with less words. So they're calling those things synonyms. And when we go to black supremacy, oh, look at that. Google doesn't have a definition for that. Oh. So I guess Google doesn't think that exists. Maybe Google should listen to some of these BLM people speak. Put all their melatonin or whatever the fuck. Melanin? Is that it? It's not a word I fucking really say, sorry. What other melanin makes them better? Black supremacy, according to Wikipedia, is a racial supremacist belief. See, now that sounds more neutrally worded. Which maintains that black people are superior to people of other races. Doesn't say in there, and specifically more superior to white people. Now, why not? We know why not. That's about it. Nothing. Alright, so let's give you this real simple. Being prejudiced means to prejudge. Racist Let's use this definition. I heard a hip-hop guy say this. It's when you treat people of different races differently in similar situations. That's a very good definition, actually, because it leaves a couple of things up in the air, as it should be with that word. Being racist does not mean that you are a supremacist. It just means that you treat people differently based on their skin color. It doesn't mean you treat them badly. It means you treat them differently. I think most people are racist. I definitely think more black folks are racist than white folks. Again, I ask you, be honest. Black folks, you're racist too. For sure. In fact, using today's parameters, black folks, you ever call a white person, white boy, cracker? You're racist. I got racist black friends. They don't tolerate me because they think I'm beneath them on the racial hierarchy ladder. They just say and do racist shit around me. Sometimes. It really ain't that big a deal. Now, a supremacist of any race, even though Google wants to make you believe that it's different if it's one person or another, a supremacist believes that they are better than other races based on birth, evolution, the will of God, whichever fucking reason. Further, a supremacist believes that nothing that anyone of another race can ever do can ever change it. They're not the same word. I'm just tired of hearing about white racists. White people are racist. The system is racist. Everything's racist. Either you're imagining it or maybe everybody's racist, whichever direction you want to go with it. It's not a valid argument, and I'm tired of it. And I'm starting to take offense to being called that at the same level as if you called me cracker or fucking honky or fucking peckerwood or any other goddamn thing. So knock it the fuck off. I know there's words that black people don't like to have thrown out there as synonymous with black. Criminal being one of them, right? Criminals. Thugs, y'all thugs, right? You don't like that? Stop calling me racist, okay? And stop calling me cracker, because I ain't no fucking cracker. My people didn't ever own no fucking slaves. Maybe 2 millennia ago. But not in this fucking millennia. It's certainly not in this country. Alright? You should make your insults a little smarter. Just knock it off. I want to see this thing resolved without a fucking civil war. But the civil war has started. But it hasn't gotten to the point of no return yet. It can still be diffused. It needs to be diffused. But I'm not going to lie down and die. And I sure as hell I'm not going to allow this country to turn into a communist state. And neither are many other Americans. So let's focus on realistic, practical things that can satisfy everybody, that we can call fair. Okay? But to show that you are able and possess the capacity of getting to a fair resolution, you got to start with some of this dumb shit, like stop calling all white people racist. Stop calling out examples on only one side but not the other, acting like it don't happen. Stop saying shit like black people are a coin flip away every time they ride in their car from being killed randomly by a racist police officer when they're doing nothing wrong. Stop saying that shit. Show some capacity for compromise. Show some willingness to condemn some violence. And you'll get a lot more people to listen to what you have to say. And as I said before, you could start by being more inclusive and adding that one word to your slogan.